Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. For those who don't know, I've been living in the Philippines for nearly 10 years, and I've seen a lot of foreigners come and go. Some absolutely love it here and never want to leave, just as myself. But let's be real guys, not everyone ends up living their tropical dreams. Now a lot of people are drawn in by the same vision. White sandy beaches, sunny weather all year round, and a cost of living that seems a fraction of what you would pay back home. And yes, all of these are true, but to a point. But what most people don't hear before packing up their lives are those regrets that many retirees eventually face here. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the biggest regrets I've seen expats run into. Now these are guys that are in my expat groups, from rising costs, healthcare struggles, cultural differences, and even some hidden challenges that no brochure or blog will ever tell you about. And by the end of this video, we'll answer the big question. Is it still worth retiring in the Philippines 2025? And if so, how do you avoid the common pitfalls? Stick with me because this is going to be an eye-opener for some of you guys out there. So number one on my list is the rising cost of living. Not as cheap as most people think. When people think of the Philippines, they think of cheap. And it is cheap compared to the West. But the truth is, prices have been climbing fast, and I mean soaring for some products and areas. Let me give you some examples. Imported goods, fresh vegetables, and especially meat have gone way up. Even electricity here is among the highest in Asia. In the hot season, when you're running your air conditioner, many retirees report bills of $150 to $200 a month. That's a shock for those who came here thinking that they'd only pay about $50. Let's not mention rent too. This has also climbed, guys, especially in expat hotspots like Cebu, Dumaguete, and even once affordable, Davao. And don't get me started on groceries. If you like Western staples, cheese, good bread, or a decent bottle of wine, expect to pay 2 to 3 times what you would pay back home. For me, I eat a simple diet and I don't usually eat Western foods, so I could spend about $40 to $50 a week on food and I'll be good. But a few years back, retirees could live here comfortably on about $1,500 a month, and I mean modestly. That same budget feels like $1,800 to $2,000 a month. Now remember, that's a modest living. And that $1,800 to $2,000 a month is realistic if you don't want to consistently stress about bills. I want to give you the facts here. So I'm going to give you a pro tip, and that is don't rely on outdated cost of living articles and blogs from 5 to 10 years ago. The game has changed, guys. Number 2, food and diet. This is a hidden struggle. This Filipino food is flavorful. You got adobo, lechon, pancit, all tasty. But the local diet is heavy on rice, oil, salt, and sugar. If you're a vegetarian, a vegan, or on a strict diet, you'll probably struggle here. Sure, I mean, fresh produce is available throughout all the markets here. You have wet markets, but refrigeration and freshness aren't always guaranteed. And if you're craving a Western meal, be prepared to pay restaurant prices. A pizza can cost you between $12 and $15 here, easy. And if you want European or American staples, you'll miss them badly or spend a small fortune ordering them online. Forget about getting these staples if you live in the province. So yes, cheaper than the West, much cheaper. But it's not that $500 budget live like a king paradise that some of these guys are posting on vlogs. Number 3, healthcare. The biggest regret for many expats. This is one that shocks people the most. The healthcare here is a mixed bag. But the good thing is, basic care is very affordable. You can see the doctor here for as little as $10. Some minor procedures here cost far less than in the West. But the bad thing is, and the most important thing you have to worry about, is once you need something serious care I'm talking about, that's where the problem begins. Many provincial hospitals are under-equipped. Some don't even have basic supplies. There are some horror stories that I've seen where hospitals run out of oxygen or demanding cash up front before giving treatment. Private hospitals in places like Manila, Cebu, Davao are excellent, Western standards, but cost Western prices, of course. Without insurance, you're looking to spend about $20,000 to $50,000 for any major surgeries. PhilHealth, the government program, won't save you in a real emergency. So if you're planning to grow old here, ask yourself this: what happens if I need assisted care? Facilities are very limited and elderly support isn't as developed as it is back in the West. So my expat pro tip for you guys is get medical evacuation insurance before you need it. And if you rely on regular medications, always keep between 3 and 6 months backup supply because pharmacies here always run out of medication. Number 4, cultural differences and integration. Filipinos are warm, friendly, and welcoming, without a doubt. But culture shock is real here for many expats that underestimate it. Filipino time is a real thing. Being late is normal here, which frustrates a lot of Westerners who are used to punctuality. Direct communication isn't the norm. People might say yes when they mean no to avoid offending you. And building deep friendships takes time. Some foreigners end up feeling lonely or isolated, especially if they don't make friends, learn the local language or the local dialects. Integration is possible, guys. It's happened to me. I'm from a big city. I've seen it happen to many foreigners. I've lived it myself, but it doesn't happen overnight. Number 5, visas and legal challenges. You see, the Philippines doesn't have a simple retirement visa like some countries. Most people start with a tourist visa that needs constant extensions. You can stay up to about 36 months in this country, about 3 years, before you have to exit. But the paperwork and the rules change often. Prices just changed recently in June. The SRR visa, or Special Retirement Visa, sounds perfect, but it requires a $10,000 to $50,000 deposit, and not everyone qualifies. And remember, foreigners cannot own land here. Even if you build your dream house, it'll be in your Filipino spouse's name. So if that relationship ever sours, you could lose everything. I know guys in the group that have learned this the hard way. Number 6, climate and natural disasters. Everyone comes for the sunshine, but a few are prepared for the storms. The Philippines is one of the most disaster-prone countries in the world. I've lived through a brutal typhoon back in 2020, Odette, so they can be brutal between June and November. Flooding and landslides are common here, especially if you live in the northern area. Rising sea levels have been a real concern for expats who build coastal homes. Your dream home by the beach might become a nightmare if it floods every year. Number 7, infrastructure and daily life struggles. Life here has its conveniences, but also major frustrations for some of you guys. Public transport can be chaotic. Jeepneys and tricycles are cheap but slow and uncomfortable. Traffic in Manila and Cebu is among the worst in the world. Roads outside of big cities are poorly maintained and sometimes impassable in rainy season. And here's something tourists and foreigners don't ever talk about. Pharmacies run out of stock. Imagine eating blood pressure meds and hearing out of stock, sir. Not just in one pharmacy, but in 3 to 4. That's a scary reality for some of you retirees out there. Number 8, the construction nightmare that could be. So you buy land in the Philippines. Well, technically, you can't. Your spouse does. And you build your dream house. Sounds amazing, right? But here's the reality. Cheap materials often get used. Workmanship can be poor. I've seen expats pay 80% of their budget only to realize they need a second team to redo everything. That dream house ends up costing double and taking years longer than planned. And last but not least, guys, you've probably heard it before, sometimes, but not all the time, family dependency and expectations. This one is sensitive, but it's important. Once you've married or in a serious relationship here, the family may look to you for financial help, medical bills, school fees, daily support. It's not always malicious. It's mostly cultural. But if you don't set boundaries early, it can drain your savings. Now, in my situation, this is not the case. Of course, we do help out whenever there's needed and if I have it. But just like most guys here, I'm not rich. So I can do what I can do when I can do it. But let's say your relationship ends badly. Remember, all that stuff that you accumulated, that property, investments, none of that's in your name here. I've seen it happen before, and it can leave a foreigner with nothing. So my final thoughts on this, is Philippines still worth it? And after all that, you're probably still wondering, is retiring in the Philippines still worth it in 2025? Here's my honest answer, guys. Yes, it is still worth retiring in the Philippines, but only if you come prepared. The Philippines is a beautiful country with some of the kindest people you'll ever meet, but it's not for everyone. You have to accept the challenges, the rising costs, the healthcare risks, and the cultural differences, and adapt. If you come here with the right mindset, do your research, and protect yourself financially and legally, you can still have an amazing retirement here. But if you come here expecting paradise on a shoestring budget, or without thinking long term, regret will find you fast, like it does a lot of guys out here. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss a drop whenever I drop videos about expat life in Asia. And now I want to hear from you guys out there. What's your biggest concern about retiring in the Philippines? Drop it in the comments and let's talk about it. With that being said, I'm out of here, guys. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video. Peace.